Joao Pedro, 50 mil, 7-year contract. Yeah. What are you saying?
First of all, great lad.
Yeah.
Really hard-working player. Like, really hard-working, really aggressive, runs his socks off, just doesn't stop, doesn't give the defenders a minute's peace. And he's really started to add goals into his game now. He scored a lot of penalties last season, don't get me wrong, but some of the goals he did score last season, I'm thinking that just comes about from real hard work and tenacity. And I think Chelsea will really appreciate that. I think that's the bit that they've been missing with your Nkunkus, with your Jacksons, is that real, like, really pressing. Do you know what I mean? Really shutting somebody down with intent.
You imagine them next year playing 4-2-3-1. So you'll have Delap up front, you'll have Palmer on the side, you'll have Pedro on the side. Plethora what they want to do with a 10 if they want. They could put Palmer as a 10 and play Sterling's still there, isn't he? I forgot about him. But they can be unbelievable.
So many Neto. They can, honestly, the list of their attacking talent, Chelsea, is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
If they can get that clicking, genuinely, if they can find a system that works, a team that works, a formation that works, right, they will be a problem next season.
Two more signings and another £100 million spent. Have Chelsea taken a big risk signing these two young attackers? Even after signing Delap, it did not take Chelsea long to move in the market. Joao Pedro, the 23-year-old from Brighton, reportedly a done deal for $50 million. Chelsea have signed yet another number 9, in addition to another winger in Jamie Bino Gittins, who reportedly has signed for $55 million. Joao Pedro, we all know very well, obviously, proven to an extent, fairly versatile, fairly consistent across the front line, but his best position is as a number 9, and it looks like Maresca could be tweaking his system slightly. I'd say the most similar profile to Joao Pedro in this Chelsea squad currently is Nkunku, and we all know he is on his way out. Would Joao Pedro be an upgrade on Christopher Nkunku though? Then there's Gittins, who at just 20 years old has commanded a £55 million fee from Borussia Dortmund. We've seen him do it in the Bundesliga, blistering pace, great dribbling ability, 1v1. There are not many better in his age group. Does this mean Chelsea will sell another winger? Madueke is probably the most likely to go, with Jadon Sancho and Mykhailo Mudryk not being a part of next season's squad. Will Madueke or somebody else be sacrificed for Gittins to come into this team? And if so, is it worth the risk?
It's not giving me the wow.
Joao Pedro to Chelsea. Swipe right or swipe left?
Just remind me.
Left you don't want him. Right you do.
How do you know, Jeff?
Just in case anybody's listening. Right, so I'm swiping left.
You are.
I know, just because I'm not convinced. It's not giving me the wow. It's not giving me wow. There's a man that's going to win a title for Chelsea. There's a man that's going to take Chelsea to the next level. It's harsh for me because I don't know. The jury's out. You got to give the guy time. I get all that.
You wouldn't even give him a first date. Give him a chance.
He probably should get a first date.
Let the guy come to the big city. Come on.
Sam, I can tell he's agreed with me.
No, you're not looking for somebody for a first date. You're looking for somebody with a long-term relationship. And I would swipe left as well, because I don't think that Chelsea need him.
Chelsea signing Joao Pedro makes so much sense. At 23 years old, £50 million, he has a completely unique profile compared to the rest of the attackers in the Chelsea squad. Pedro is versatile. He can play as a centre forward, he can play as a second striker, even as an attacking midfielder, but his real strength lies in connecting the attack and the midfield. And with that, I see Pedro as a facilitator rather than a classic finisher, because he likes to drop deep, link up play, create space for others, rather than running in behind and attacking the box. And as a result, Pedro will enable Madueke, Palmer, Gittins to run in behind and exploit that space. Sure, there'll be questions about Chelsea paying £50 million for a striker who scored 10 goals last season, 5 of which were penalties, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Maresca values possession, he values control over counter-attacks, and Pedro fits his philosophy perfectly. And if they use him in the right way, if he stays fit, Pedro will fly at Chelsea.
Joao Pedro, 50 mil, 7-year contract. Yeah. What are you saying?
First of all, great lad.
Yeah.
Really hard-working player, like really hard-working, really aggressive, runs his socks off, just doesn't stop, doesn't give the defenders a minute's peace, and he's really started to add goals into his game now. He scored a lot of penalties last season, don't get me wrong, but some of the goals he did score last season, I'm thinking that just comes about from real hard work and tenacity, and I think Chelsea will really appreciate that. I think that's the bit that they've been missing with your Nkunkus, with your Jacksons, is that real, like, really pressing. Do you know what I mean? Really shutting somebody down with intent.
You imagine them next year playing 4-2-3-1. So you'll have Delap up front, you'll have Palmer on the side, you'll have Pedro on the side. plethora of what they want to do with a 10 if they want. They could put Palmer as a 10 and play and what. Sterling's still there, isn't he? I forgot about him. But they can be unbelievable.
So many Neto. They can honestly. The list of their attacking talent, Chelsea, is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
If they can get that clicking, genuinely, if they can find a system that works, a team that works, a formation that works, right? They will be a problem next season.
I hate to do it, but I'm actually going to stick up for Chelsea here. I think this is a good signing. Chelsea are getting a lot of grief for signing Joao Pedro. It's another sort of striker that can sort of play in the 10. We don't really know what his best position is, but I actually think this is quite smart. I agree that Chelsea have spent a lot of money, right? And how they go about that, how they don't break rules, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but it is crazy. But in terms of this specific signing, I think that people look at Pedro and see them making another signing, spending a lot of money, and that taints how they feel about the actual transfer itself. I'm talking specifically about the profile of player. Now, again, like I said at the start of the video, I think a lot of people are going to look at it and think he's sort of a striker, sort of a number 10. One player that Chelsea don't really have depth for is Cole Palmer in that attack. Esteval said that long term he wants to play as a number 10 for Chelsea, but again, he's going to be finding his feet next year. Joao Pedro, bear in mind Chelsea are back in the Champions League as well, to have Joao Pedro who offers that versatility, but I think his best position is actually as that number 10. Obviously he can play up front, he can play off the left as well. He offers something different to the likes of Neto and Gittins. Obviously they've got Madueke who can play out there as well. The level of attacking depth is insane, but predominantly for me, I think he will probably be used as a rotation option to Palmer in that number 10. Palmer played a lot of football last season, and if he gets a big injury, they've got someone now who can just slot in there. They didn't really have that before. When you compare him to other strikers, he ranks first for key passes and first for through passes completed as well. He is one of the most creative, versatile strikers in the league, and to add that to your squad, yes, you've got Delap, yes, you've got Jackson. Look, they might end up selling Jackson further down the line. We don't know, and then they can just use Pedro and Delap as a striker rotation, which is still really nice. Like I said, Chelsea have spent a lot of money, right? And I don't like Chelsea. I don't really like the way they go about it. Like I said, I don't really know enough of it to comment fully, but I do feel like people see Chelsea spending decent money again. And look, they've got Pedro for around £50 million, which isn't the craziest amount of money in this day and age anyway, really. Let's be honest, it's not. It's not. But that is Chelsea's attack kind of set for the next 2-3 years now. Look, they might move on players like Jackson. They might move on a Neto or a Madueke at some point in the next 1 or 2 years. But they've still got enough options to cover multiple positions. The best thing to have in your squad is versatility. And I know Chelsea get taken the piss out of for signing players who can sort of play as a striker, sort of play as a 10 like Nkunku, Felix. It didn't quite work out. But for me, Pedro is already proven quality. He's an upgrade on those two players. He's got that nastiness that, you know, has kind of been missing from Chelsea, I think, a little bit. He's got that sort of bite about him. And I think now if they move on to a centre-back and a goalkeeper, they're kind of done. They do need to maybe make a centre-back upgrade in that back line. I like Colwell. I think there's more to come from him. If Fofana can stay relatively injury-free next year, can he play a big part? If not, you never know, Chelsea might look to sell him. And look, I don't like how Chelsea stockpile these players. That's not what I'm saying. I don't like how Chelsea go about it. But I do think that sometimes people get annoyed about a signing, get annoyed about Chelsea spending money and don't actually look at why they've necessarily done it. I think this is a far more smarter deal than people are giving Chelsea credit for. Maybe they could have signed a player for slightly cheaper in that position who had potential to grow into. Maybe they could have done that. But they moved into the Champions League this year. Maybe the ambitions of the owners have changed with them getting Champions League football and they want to be more serious. This is a sort of signing that Chelsea would make back in the day, you know. So I don't hate it at all.